Alrighty, so I had a question pop up. What about ARK Survival Ascended with a 5080 at 1440p? So we're taking a look at that now. Right now I'm just using the Unreal Upscaler, which seems to be the main one that runs the best. This game is still quite broken, but we're gonna just jump in and test out what we have to do to get a nice playable experience. Right now we are on 100% upscaling, so there's basically, that means just native, but we're using the Unreal technology, not DLSS. It just does not work well at all. So I just recommend sticking straight with the Unreal upscaler. So let's take a look at it. Right now we are on Epic settings, and we are at 1440. We have the Unreal upscaler, and we're not doing any resolution scaling. Now, to get this to go up, we can do one of two things. We can just tone down the graphic preset here, or we can come in and do a little bit of upscaling. I would say we would do a little bit of upscaling normally, although the Unreal Engine upscaler isn't, it's just not quite as good as the DLSS one. However, on this game, DLSS is just very broken. Alright, so that's going to give us 37, 38 FPS, which is pretty hilarious, really. I mean, that a 5080 is still not able to run this game well, and that's not dunking on the 5080 at all. It's just that this game is so incredibly broken. I mean, and for some reason, my CPU temps are just really high. I think I've got a cooler that I need to replace, but we're still under the 95 degrees AMD, throttle, so we're okay. But if you see my temperatures higher than normal, that's probably got a lot to do with it. But anyway, let's just come over here and check out some more settings. Right now we're at 42 FPS, and we don't have any frame generation turned on. So you could do that, but I would probably say I would still like to have frame generation based upon a 60 FPS experience. So right now I'm just going to apply the graphic preset high and see if that's going to give us a 60 FPS experience. Still no. My goodness, this game. It's starting to look a little bit like not so good with that resolution scaling, although you can go down to 50% if you really have to, and right now we are at 67. So let's go down to what would be a performance equivalent DLSS setting, and right now we're just going to check out what that does. See if it gives us, okay, so we're still under 50, 52. I mean, this is just so bad. So really my recommendation would probably be just to rely on frame generation, unfortunately, because it's an absolute this game is just so incredibly broken. It should be well over 100 FPS right here on this card at this resolution. So really I would just say to not do any upscaling to any crazy amount. Let's go back to 100 and let's see what that was, just so we can get our bearings again. That was 39 FPS, 41, so right around 40 FPS, and that doesn't give you any sort of degradation in your image because, again, Unreal runs better, but DLSS looks way better, and since DLSS is broken, stutters, it just doesn't run well, I would probably just say let's run DLSS frame generation with that resolution scale at 100 and see where that gives us. And we're on the high graphics preset here. So I'm going to save that, jump back into it, and that gives us 75, 78 FPS. Now, this is also, to note, we're doing frame generation here, which is unfortunate, but that's just what it takes to get this game to run smooth enough and look decent enough to be able to play it. So this would probably be how I would play this title. Again, it's not a fast-paced competitive shooter, so frame generation is honestly fine, and the Unreal upscaler tends to look the best for sure. Alright, so we can play with some other settings here just to see what it does if we do jump up to that epic setting. See if that gives us any sort of unplayable experience, because it does look pretty good at epic, and it looks really good at, you know, and the anti-aliasing set to the Unreal. So we're on Unreal, and we have DLSS frame gen turned on. We're going to go ahead and save that, and this is epic settings, and that will give you over 60 FPS, and this by and large looks so much better. Now, you wouldn't be able to do this and get 60 at 4K obviously, but at 1440 this is kind of, you know, another good way to play it, because I don't really care too much if frame generation gets me over 60 when it's not a competitive title. Now, should I be having to do frame generation on top of, you know, 1440p with a 5080? Absolutely not. I mean, this is just entirely the game's fault why it runs so bad. But yeah, this has just like been a quick look at it. If you really just want to see one more setting here, we can go into 1080p, just for those wondering. Keep those same exact settings, jump over into 1080p. My screen will come back here in a minute. Alright, so this is Unreal with DLSS frame gen turned on with epic settings. I'm going to go ahead and make sure we've saved that. And that will give you 76, 78 FPS. I mean, still not like groundbreaking by any means. I mean, this is crazy to me that 1080p can't hit over 100 FPS on a 5080 GPU with frame gen. Just like, come on. So yeah, I mean, epic settings, which, okay, I'll give you that. You know, Unreal upscaler set to 100% resolution scaling with frame generation turned on. Now, if we turn frame generation off just to get like that base setting, again, this is 1080p. This should be a cakewalk for this thing. 38 FPS. Like, what in the hell? I cannot get into this game that much because of just how bad it runs. But you know, if you're willing to put up with using literally everything, you know, resolution scaling potentially, and for sure you're going to have to use frame generation. It's just the way it is on this game right now. I don't think they're going to fix it. I feel like they've just kind of thrown their hands up in the air and said, well, if you want to play this game, go buy a, you know, high dollar GPU and use frame generation, because we're done with it. So, which is unfortunate, but that's just the way it is on this title. They're just not interested in fixing it, I feel like. So this has been a quick look at a 5080 at 1440p and even 1080p on Survival ARK Survival Ascended. And yeah, drop some comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know, you know, if you want to see any other games or other GPUs at different resolutions on this title or other games. If you like this kind of content, of course, please give me a like and consider subscribing. We have tons more videos coming out, and working on these all throughout the week, all the time. This is kind of a side hobby of mine right now that I'm trying to get into a main hobby, or a main source of income. So any kind of like, subscription, comment goes a very, very long way. And I just really appreciate everyone who has stuck around and watched this video. So we will see you in the next one. Thanks. Peace.